Dear students, today we will study one of the sonnet which Shakespeare wrote. The title is Sonnet 116. It is prescribed for BBA English course. Sonnet 116, Let Me Not the Marriage of True Minds by William Shakespeare is easily one of the most important sonnet. This sonnet attempts to define love by telling both what is and what is not. In the first quatrain, the speaker says that love, the marriage of true minds, is perfect and unchanging. It does not admit impediments and it does not change when it finds changes in the loved one. The meaning is that when the other partner or your friend even changes, your love should not change. In the second quatrain, the speaker tells what love is through a metaphor, a guiding star to lost ships, wandering barks that is not susceptible to storms. It looks on tempests and is never shaken. In the third quatrain, the speaker again describes what love is not. It is not susceptible to time, though beauty fades in time as rosy lips and cheeks come within his bending sickle compass. Love does not change with hours and weeks, instead, it bears it out even to the age of doom. In the couplet, the speaker attests to his certainty that love is as he says. If his statements can be proved to be error, he declares he must never have written a word and no man can ever have been in love what true love is. Themes. Shakespeare uses some of his most familiar themes in Sonnet 116. These include time, love, and the nature of relationships. In the 14 lines of the sonnet, he delves into what true love is and whether or not it is real. He uses a metaphor to compare love to a star that's always present and never changes. He is so confident in this opinion that he asserts no man has ever loved before it if he is wrong. He says that if somebody proves him wrong, no man loved anyone and he never wrote this sonnet. He is so convinced. He is so having a great conviction about his idea of love. Shakespeare also brings elements of time into the poem. He emphasizes that time knows no boundaries, and even if the people in the relationship change, the love does not. Historical background. Many believe the mysterious young man for whom these and many other of Shakespearean sonnets were written was the Earl of Southampton, Henry Wriothesley. Wriothesley was Shakespeare's patron and the bards Venu, Adonis and Tarquin and Lucre were dedicated to the young man. Structure and form. This is a Shakespearean sonnet also called an Elizabethan or English sonnet. This type of sonnet contains 14 lines separated into three quatrains, 4 lines, and ending with a rhyming couplet, 2 lines. The rhymed scheme of the sonnet is AB AB, CD CD, EF EF, GG. Like most of Shakespeare's works, this sonnet is written in iambic pentameter, which means each line consists of 10 syllables. Within those 10 syllables, there are 5 pairs which are called yams. One stressed syllable followed by an unstressed syllable. This is the literary structure of the poem. Shakespeare uses several literary devices in Sonnet 116 which include but are not limited to alliteration, examples of caesura and personification. The first alliteration is concerned with the repetition of words that begin with the same consonant sound. For example, marriage and minds in the first line and remove her and the remove are in the fourth line. Caesura is used when the poet wants to create a pause in the middle of a line. The second line of the poem is a good example. It reads, admit it impediments. Love is not love. There is another example in the line 8. It reads, whose worth unknown. Although his height is taken, the pause the poet uses might be marked with punctuation of intuited through the metrical pattern. While this sonnet is clumped in with the other sonnets that are assumed to be dedicated to an unknown young man in Shakespeare's life, this poem does not seem to directly address anyone. In fact, Sonnet 116 seems to be the speaker's, in this case perhaps Shakespeare, ruminations on love and what is it is. The best way to analyze Shakespeare's sonnets is to examine them line by line, which is what we will follow. In the first two lines, Shakespeare writes, let me not the marriage of true minds admit impediments. These lines are perhaps the most famous in the history of poetry, regardless of whether or not one recognizes them as belonging to Shakespeare. Straight away, Shakespeare uses the metaphor of marriage to compare it to true, real love. He is saying that there is no reason why two people who truly love should not be together. Nothing should stand in their way. Perhaps he is speaking about his feelings for the unknown young man for whom the sonnet is written. Shakespeare was unhappy married to Anne Hathaway, and so perhaps he was rationalizing his feelings for the young man by stating there was no reason, even if one is already married, that two people who are truly in love should not be together. The second half of the second line begins a new thought, which is then carried on into third and fourth lines. He writes, love is not which alters where it alteration finds or bends with remover to remove. Shakespeare is continuing with his thought that true love conquers all. In these lines, the speaker tells the reader that if love changes, it is not truly loved because if it changes or someone tries to remove it, nothing will change it. Love does not stop just because something is altered. As cliched as it sounds, true love, real love lasts forever. The second quatrain of Sonnet 116 begins with some vivid and beautiful imagery, and it continues with the final thought pondered in the first quatrain. Now that Shakespeare has established what love is not fleeting and ever changing, he can now tell us what love is. He writes, oh no, it is an ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. Here Shakespeare tells his readers that love does not shift, change or move. It is constant and the same place and it can weather even the most harrowing of a storms or tempest and is never even shaken, let alone defeated. Why weak it can be argued here that Shakespeare decides to personify love since it is something that is intangible and not something that can be defeated by something tangible such as a star. In the next line, Shakespeare uses the metaphors of the North Star to discuss love. He writes, it is the star to every wand ring bark, whose worth unknown, although his height be taken. To Shakespeare, love is the star that guides every bark or ship on the water. And while it is priceless, it can be measured. These two lines are interesting and worth noting. Shakespeare concedes that love's worth is not known, but he says it can be measured. He neglects to tell his reader, but perhaps he is assuming the reader will understand the different ways one can measure love through time and actions. With that thought, the second quatrain ends. The third quatrain parallels the first, and Shakespeare returns to telling his readers what love is not. He writes, love is not time's full, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickles compass come. Notice the capitalization of the word time. Shakespeare is personifying time as a person, especially death. He says that love is not the pool of time. Once rosy lips and cheeks will certainly pale with age, as his bending sickles compass come. Shakespeare's diction is important here, particularly with the use of word sickle. Who is the person with whom the sickle is most greatly associated? Death. We are assured here that death will certainly come, but that will not stop love. It will kill the lover, but the love itself is eternal. His thought is continued in lines 11 and 12. The final two lines of the third quatrain, Shakespeare writes, love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it even to the age of doom. He is simply stating here that love does not change over time. Instead, it continues on even after the world has ended, the age of doom. Shakespeare uses lines 13 and 14, the final couplet of Sonnet 116, to assert how truly he believes that love is everlasting and conquers all. He writes, if this be error and upon me prove, I never read nor no man ever loved. In this part of Sonnet 116, Shakespeare is telling his reader that if someone proves he is wrong about love, then he never wrote the following words, and no ever loved. He is conveying here that if his words were untrue, nothing else would exist. The words he just wrote would have never been written, and no man would have ever loved them before. Question 1. Constancy is the theme of the poem. Indicate the words, phrase, and images that suggest the theme. The central theme of the sonnet, Let Me Not the Marriage of True Minds, is based on the robust nature of love. According to the sonneteer, true love never changes even when difficult obstacles arise because it is always constant. The expression that signifies the constant nature of true love, as mentioned below. Love does not alter, love is forever and ever flowing mark. Love is never times full. Love is a fixed mark. Love is never second. What do you mean by sonnet? The meaning behind the word sonnet is a little song. A sonnet is a 14-line poem. The rhyme scheme of the sonnet is six sonnets, can be different types, such as the Italian sonnet that is based on the original sonnet structure by Da Lentini, and the Shakespearean sonnet revolving around themes of romance and love. What does the line I never read nor no man ever loved imply? In Sonnet 116, Shakespeare stated that true love is unwavering even with time. In the last stanza, Shakespeare describes that although time has the power to destroy everything, love is not affected by the loss of beauty with time. Love is eternal and timeless. The true nature of love and the things true love is not at the end of the sonnet. The couplet is starting with I never read nor no man ever loved is an expression Shakespeare has used to challenge his idea of love. According to him, if love is not constant like he has written, and love is not everything accompanying to the idea of the sonnet, then it means that no man ever loved truly. If what he says about love is an error, then no man ever loved earnestly. What does the title of the sonnet Let Me Not the Marriage of True Minds signify? The meaning of the title of the sonnet Let Me Not the Marriage of True Minds is that true love is immortal, love remains unchanged throughout the end of time. The poet has sincerely expressed that nothing can be an obstacle to the love because true love is not only the marriage of bodies but the marriage and unification of true minds who are truly and genuinely in love. Let me not the marriage of true minds admit impediments, love is not love, which alters when it alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove, no, it is ever fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never second. It is the star to every wind's wandering bark, whose worth unknown, although his height be taken. Love is not time's full, though rosy lips and cheeks. Within his bending sickle compass come, love alters not with his brief hours and week, but bears it even to the edge of doom. If this be error and upon me proved, I never read nor no man ever loved. This is the poem. Question 5. Love is presented as the subject or doer of actions of the poem. Why do you think the poet has used this form rather than involving human agents? It is often seen in the literature that human beings are presented as the subjects of poems when certain actions such as love and friendship need to be described. However, William Shakespeare has delightfully opened words in his sonnets to describe love as a strong and unchanging. The perpetual nature of true love is unlike the capriciousness of human minds. According to Shakespeare, humans are vulnerable to change, but true love remains the same till the end of time. Therefore, Shakespeare has entrusted love with the performance of actions in the poem. Love does not become inconsistent in the face of difficulties. In contrast, humankind's emotions are unstable and can disappear in the wake of obstacles. Why does the poet emphasize in his sonnet that love is not timesful? The poet has mentioned a few qualities of love, such as immortality and sincerity. In addition, the poet has beautifully mentioned that love is not influenced by time. Time can destroy everything, including the beauty of a person. It is just like sickle that a farmer uses to harvest crops. True love is not affected by the cycle of time because it is constant till the end of life. Time can never affect the minds of true lovers to become apart, and that is why love is never time's full. Shakespearean perception of love is based on its everlasting nature. Instead of describing love as a set of remarkable qualities, he narrates all the things love is not. It is done through the use of negatives such as love is not time's full, love does not alter, and love is unsecond. The poet states that if love gets rattled and changes with time, it is never true love. Therefore, the entire sonnet describes what love is not like. What is the central theme of the sonnet? Let me note the marriage of true minds by William Shakespeare. The sonnet Let Me Note the Marriage of True Minds is an alluring description of Shakespearean love compared as a sonnet, composed as a sonnet. The central idea of the sonnet is the consistency of love till doomsday. In the opinion of the poet, true love is always stable. Love cannot be love if it perishes with time. Love is the marriage of true minds that is permanent in the face of changes. Love is fixed mark assisting true lovers just like pole star and guides sailors to reach their destination. Barriers cannot weaken true love and it remains unaffected by time. The passage of time destroys everything, including person's beauty, but it does not affect the marriage and union of true minds. The poet also wrote that his explanation about love is erroneous, and if love is not according to his insight, then people never truly loved and he was never a true poet. Explain the phrase his bending sickle compass, times full. His bending sickle's compass is a symbol of immortality, but the compass of love wears out during changes in relationships. A man's love for his favorite becomes weak with time if he does not give importance to a spiritual love, but rather the physical beauty of love. Love never dies, but the beloved's beauty is diminished over time. The physical beauty is demolished by the compass sickle of time. Time's full true love does not wither away with time. It remains unaffected. Even when physical beauty disappears and obstacles continue to arise, true love is stable till the end of time. True love is not shattered by the power of time. What qualities of love make it like a lighthouse or a pole star? According to the poet, true love is like a lighthouse. A lighthouse remains fixed during huge storms, illuminating the dark ocean for the sailors to find their way. True love is just like the lighthouse, unshaken in front of obstacles. The poet has also compared love to the North Pole star that helps sailors find the right direction to reach their destination. Like the pole star, true love helps lovers find a path for blossoming their genuine feelings of love. The following two common words are used differently in the poem. Guess what they are? Bark and compass. Bark means a ship, the compass signifies the passage or range of time.